Welcome everybody to You Know What, Mondays with Max. Good to see you all. Appreciate you guys all being here. We have an action-packed episode tonight. Lots of stuff to talk about. Love to hear what you guys are thinking. But before we get into that, let's see who is here tonight. We have 10 minutes to midnight. Who is here first? Buenos noches, right back at you. Son of a rabbit, lukewarm miner. 10 minutes, I already said 10 minutes to midnight. Lusted Dog C57, Crypto Crag, Nick the Best, Nah City, Taines, Vinny Del Greco, Gaming with Smokey Dan, Shides, Steven, Aragorn Strider, the one and only, Not James, Firehawk 92, John Germain. Haven't seen you here in a minute. Good to see you, sir. Let's see. Second TL. Let's go. No kidding. Let's see who else. Homebrew Crypto. Burn. Oh, okay. We're going to say it twice tonight. Got it. Frogman. Turtle Tech. Chuck Danger. 87. Crypto Mikkel. Welcome, good sir. All for you miners. Jackson Digital. Bacon, Eggs, and Hash. And we got a couple. So Aragorn Strider been a member for 5 months. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Got it. I will let her know. She is in the other room because my son was sitting next to me. And he is playing games. Anyway, we'll see if she pops into the chat. Jackson Digital. I think I already said Bacon Eggs Hash. Let's see. Who else? See if there's anybody else I haven't caught. Nope, that is everybody. Good to see you. And then Vinny Del Greco, Twins. He's been a member for 5 months. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support, guys. Not necessary, but much appreciated. Volume is lower than normal. Okay, I appreciate you letting me know that. Let me see what I can do about that. Oh yeah, that would be why. anytime I go into Discord, it screws things up. It like automatically levels. Is that better? Crypto Craig? Is that a better level? I will wait. Smash the like, bros. Is weather manipulated? No, it is not. It's science, people. It's science. Anyway, it just stopped getting on Discord. It's bad for me anyway. Sometimes. Yesterday it was quite productive, but not always. There we go. Game of Smokey Dan with the anyway counter. I appreciate that. Keeps me honest. All right, well, let's get into my favorite meme of the day. I did not say anyway. I said all right. I did not say anyway. Oh, I guess you're just, and it doesn't matter the reference. If I'm actually like saying that I'm not saying that word, you're going to count it anyway. Got it. All right. The word that we shall not say on purpose. Okay. Got it. All right. Well, let me show you my favorite meme of the day. Floridians and Cat 5 hurricanes. 300. Floridians and weather below 60 degrees. Run away. Run away. Anyway, I thought it was quite funny. Thought it was very funny. All right. So let's start talking about the hurricane to start. For those that don't know, this just became the fifth. In fact, let me get to that screen. Which one was it? This one. It just became the fifth most powerful hurricane in history, in recorded history. Obviously, there were years I don't think that they were able to actually measure the pressure inside a hurricane offshore, like anything before planes were made. But anyway, yeah, right now it is number 5 with the potential to maybe become the most powerful ever. Wilma was the most powerful ever. And again, that doesn't mean as it approaches or gets to landfall, it's just no matter where it is in the world, what was the most powerful hurricane? And right now this is number 5. It is expected to, I have a good source. It is expected to, and again, we're still talking a couple days out, so things can change, but it is expected to go down to a Cat 3 by the time it makes landfall. That isn't like, it's better than a Cat 5, no question, but because that it's been generating all of this current in the ocean, whatever, the actual storm surge is still going to be, there's some areas that are still predicted to be up to 15 to 18 feet. So it's going to be a huge storm surge. All the barrier islands outside of like Sarasota all the way up through Tampa will most likely be underwater. Good news, they won't probably have much cleanup to do after the fact because all the junk will probably float away. So, hey, bright side. Anyway, if you are in that area, take care, take cover, evacuate if you can. So yeah. So anyway, the reason why I bring this up is not because this is a weather stream. It's because anytime there is a significant event, where there's unknown consequences, it's the whole buy on rumor, sell on news type of thing. Once you know what happened, everybody kind of goes, okay, now I know what to do. Now I know what's going to happen. And because markets hate uncertainty, this is uncertainty. So I wouldn't expect Bitcoin to do much in these next few days leading up to the landfall of the hurricane. And until it pretty much vacates Florida, I'm thinking this week is a big nothing burger. It might go down possibly. It might go up. We have a favorable inflation report, and I'll go over that in a little bit. Kind of similar to the way that the jobs report was favorable. But today was kind of the hangover from the jobs report with people kind of saying, well, wait a minute. If the jobs report was that good, then we don't think that the Fed is going to lower things as quickly, which I think is a bunch of hooey. And again, I'll tell you why in a second. So I think things are setting up really, really well. And I'll go over what my predictions are a little bit later on whether or not we're going to have an Uptober or an OctoBear. One of the two. And I will tell you what I think, because I've been looking at the charts, been listening to a few other people that have been talking about different things, listening to some, not listening to others, because I think some of them are kind of full of it. For example, last week I mentioned about, hey, watch out, this strike is going to hit the markets hard. And I still heard Lark Davis talking about Uptober on Sunday when the strike was imminent. So he was still talking about October. I'm saying, no. This strike goes on. We're not going to have October. Obviously the strike's gone now. So that takes that completely off the table. Not saying that there aren't other elements that could have an effect on whether or not the markets go down, but that was really the biggest headwind we had. That was definitely the biggest headwind. So anyway, let me get into some of the other stuff. I just want to make sure there wasn't anything else about the hurricane that I wanted to cover. I think that was pretty much it. But yeah, it was just the Weather Channel saying it. They hit 897 at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time. So we'll see what it does later on tonight to see if it even goes lower. That thing is a monster. Oh, and this was the other thing. This was peak storm surge forecast. This is like peak 10 to 15 feet. Again, this is a broad area. There are some that are not peak, but actual forecasted. There's a few areas that are 15 to 18 feet. But again, it all depends on exactly the path of the storm. That prediction was taking it closer to Sarasota and not Tampa. But it's looking like the north side of the storm is actually going to have more rain. The south side of the storm isn't going to have quite as much. But again, it depends on which model you're looking at. So, yeah. All right. Enough about the hurricane. But anyway, the reason I bring that up, it's until it makes landfall. Right now, it's predicted to make landfall about 1 a.m. on Thursday. Again, that probably will change from that. But it is much later than what they had originally forecast. So we'll see. Anyway, Wednesday to Thursday probably look, like I said, I think this week's going to be kind of a nothing burger, unless people take more notice of the CPI report that's coming out on Thursday. So let's go into the economy and the effects and different things like that. So the jobs report last week, actually, before I do that, let me catch up on the chat. Crypto Bedell, I'm stocking up on whiskey and toilet paper, but I drink too much whiskey. Well, it's a good thing you got a lot of toilet paper then. Just saying. Tampa gonna get blasted. Yep. And my sister-in-law's in Tampa. Flew in today, actually. But it, like I said, it'll go down to a Cat 3. People, I think, will be fine unless you're in flood-ridden areas, and then you definitely need to evacuate because Florida's gotten so much rain already. Smash the Like Bro says it'll hit 892. Going to be a total disaster. It's going to weaken as it gets to, but yeah, it will definitely, anything coast is going to be completely demolished. No question. No question. Yes. Rizzo 529. Yes. Hello from Abe Froman. Anyway, that's going to be like it'll be one of the things, that'll be like Brandon Coin's jellyfish. Like, where did that come from? So, all right, let me just make sure I didn't miss any, but I did. Tains, it is also the first hurricane in the Gulf to travel east, from what I heard. No. Maybe this year, but no, it's not. There was actually one long time ago that took almost the exact same path. I don't remember which one it was, but there was one. It was like, shoot, and I looked it up and I don't have it anymore. I got rid of that tab. I know, shocking, right? But I did get rid of that tab. I'm just going to double check, make sure. Yeah, these were all. Yeah. And then there was that one. Yeah, those were the only ones I had. So, but no, it is definitely not the one that's first one's traveled east. Well, heck, Charlie traveled east. Wait. This is the only one that's traveled entirely east. Oh, got it. It's the first one that's, he corrected me. It's the first one that's traveled entirely east. That's what I think you meant. Yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, of course some have traveled east. All right. Well, anyway, good point, Tains. Crypto Craig is still too low for you unless it's me. I mean, I can still turn it up a little bit. How is it for everybody else? Let me know. I'm going to turn it up 5 more notches and see if that fixes things, because I pretty much tell me if it's getting distorted. But I did turn it up. All right, let me scroll down to other. Bacon Eggs has good time to visit her brother. She was just in this area and she traveled from here to down there. So Florida is just a swamp anyway. I grew up there. Well, yeah, that's true, but it's going to be a mess. Definitely going to be a mess. Helena did not weaken. That's true, but this is a different storm and there's different factors at play. So Helena did not, it stayed over warm water for a very, very long period of time and then kind of like took a right turn into Florida. This one's like heading straight to Florida, so it'll have a lot more like land interaction before it actually gets there. So that's why they're saying it will weaken to a 3. There's I was like looking at some forecasts that were saying it was only like a 50 to 60% chance of even having hurricane force winds when it came ashore. I think that's drastically too low, but that's some of the forecasts. So they are definitely forecasting some weakness. We'll see. Remember this, if the meteorologists are correct in forecasting that it's going to reduce from a Cat 5 to a Cat 3 when you doubted it. See, sometimes forecasting works. Most of the time it works. It's just not always spot on because there's various models and not always sure which one's going to be the best representative. More bass, please. Really? No, I'm not putting on more bass. I'm already bassy enough. I think that's what you're probably telling me, is that you're just trying to be funny, son of a rabbit. Just trying to be funny. Please, minus 69 double max. Okay. All right. Did everybody say it sounded okay now? Although son of a rabbit saying it needed more bass. It's very loud, not distorted. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's good. Sound is perfect. Excellent. Thank you, John Germain. Appreciate it very much. Kaiser, welcome. Appreciate you being here. All right. So let's get on to the economy. So first things first, we had the non-farm payroll employment, the employment report, basically reporting 4.1%, so lower than what was expected. They were expecting 4.2%. It was much stronger with 254,000 jobs in September. So you're thinking, well, okay, but there's been all these adjustments. Why should we believe this number? Well, that's what I thought too. So then I'm like, I always look for the adjustments. And they always put them at the bottom for some reason. It always bugs me. Why would you do that? It's an important number. But interestingly enough, the change in total non-farm payroll employment for July was revised up 55,000 from 89,000 to 144,000. And the change for August was revised up 17,000 from 142,000 to 159,000. That is significantly stronger than what was expected. A lot of times we see reductions here. Well, these were actually increases. So all of this put together meant this was a really, really good jobs report. So then the experts started thinking, okay, well, if the jobs report was that good, then why would the Fed be lowering interest rates? because the economy is still good. Well, that's true, but they have said that they are not lowering interest rates because having anything to do with the state of the economy. They are strictly looking at inflation, and that is their guide. So as long as the economy stays good, but the inflation continues to come down, then they will continue to lower. They'll probably lower less. I mean, I think right now the consensus is there's one more meeting before the end of the year, and they'll probably lower a quarter. Some crazy people were thinking there was going to be another 3 quarters worth of reductions. I never thought that. I figured it'd be another quarter. They've done the big one now. Now they just want to show the steady path of reducing interest rates along the way. Nothing too shocking. Nothing that's going to get they were really worried about doing 0.5% in the first place, because 0.5% throws the flag of, oh my God, we're in trouble. And they don't want to throw that flag, because that's not what they want to portray, because then consumer sentiment drops and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So they don't want to do that. So 0.25% makes the most sense. So here's the other part of it. So now they're thinking, well, wait a minute. If unemployment was only 4.1%, then maybe inflation didn't come down anymore. And that may be true. Now they are forecasting that inflation is going to drop, but this was what I've talked about before. Okay. So a lot of things again, you're not going to see prices in general lower. You're going to see them stop going up. So your eggs, I don't shop, so I'm just throwing something out there. Let's say milk. Milk, for instance, may have been $2.50 per gallon, and maybe now it's $4 a gallon. Okay. Well, guess what? It's not going down from $4 a gallon. It might go down a little bit, but it's not going to go up to $4.50. But it's still going to stay at $4. So you're still going to feel that, but you're not going to have to worry about it. Well, you could worry about it, but it's not going to go up rapidly to $4.50 if inflation is lower. Okay. So those types of things have really come down in price. You can see there's some things that are negative out there from August. There was, obviously energy was negative. That was obviously a major impact. But if we look at, where's food? Food at home was only 0.1%, and away from home, it was 0. Now, what I find interesting is, well, you would think it would be some type of average between those two, right? No, 0.2 was all of food. So I'm not sure what these two pieces are missing, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. So the big piece of this, though, if you look at what's the highest number, well, transportation services has gone up, but that's a much smaller piece of the economy. The big piece of the economy that has not come down, you've heard me talk about it, is shelter. This is the number to watch. Okay. Now, interest rates come down, mortgage rates come down, assuming the price of housing doesn't go up as a result, which isn't necessarily, they don't necessarily go hand in hand. But if you have housing stay generally the same or increasing slowly, and interest rates come down, the overall cost of housing is going to come down. It will lower housing equivalent rents and bring this number down. And that's what the Fed is looking for as they bring down these interest rates slowly. So that's the number to keep an eye on, people. This is the big one. Obviously, serviceless energy and services at 4.9. Well, that's including shelter, and that's why that number is so high. So that's like an all-inclusive number between everything else. Obviously, medical care services is always going to be a number. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Actually, the last 6 months, it hasn't been high. But this is another number that most likely, based on these other numbers, this number is going to come down. But I just don't think it's that big of a piece of the economy. Shelter is 1/3 of the CPI. Now, as I mentioned before, also, the PCE, personal consumption, I can't think of what the expenditures or something like that, expenses. That index is the preferred measure of the Fed, and it comes out at the end of the month. Last month, it was similar in trend. The numbers are different, but it was similar in trend to the CPI, so it wasn't like earth-shattering or anything. But everybody looks at the CPI and barely anybody pays attention to the PCE, even though that's the one that matters. So that's going to be the big headline this week. It comes out on Thursday, so keep an eye on that. That could, if inflation comes down more than what they expect, I think right now the expectation is it's going to come down like 0.2%. I think they're really looking at it that shelter's going to have an effect this time. It's actually finally going to show some, because if you look at like a year ago, the one it's going to be replacing, it's a relatively high number that it's replacing. So if that number comes down, it's going to have a big effect. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens, but keep an eye on that for Thursday. Let me see. Let me go back to the chat. Joker Miner Salad. I will maybe talk a little bit about that at the end. I did a stream on that on Friday. If you didn't catch it, let's just say that the widget lies. It lies. You know, when you put Salad on a Windows machine and then it tells you it's making a certain amount, well, guess what? You can't trust it. You need to look at the web interface. That's what will tell you how much it's actually making. It does give you a range, but that's not the problem. It's doubling, and even in some cases I found tripling what the actual amount that it's making. And it's almost like somehow it's adding, like it's not, you know, it's got the first one, and instead of saying, oh, I don't have that job anymore and I now have this job, no, it doesn't do that. It just adds it from the last job, even though the last job's gone. And they're trying to figure out why it does this. So, but in the meantime, yeah, it's pretty frustrating from a person who runs 8 computers on Salad, and probably will be taking 2 of them off, most likely, maybe more. Haven't decided yet. I'm going to leave my 3060 Ti's on it. That's for sure. They do the best out of any of the platforms from what I've seen. Although I haven't tried Chlor yet. I will be trying Chlor in a little while, probably in a week or two. Yeah. All right. So with all that said, oh, sorry, going to the chat. Vinny Del Greco, more folks working 2 and 3 jobs to survive makes more jobs. Well, that is true. Yeah, I guess you could say myself being one of them. I do the side hustle here along with my company job down in the basement, along with working for Terra in my spare time, as well as my full-time job. So, yeah, I have a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of places where I do make money. So it definitely helps to keep things going. I don't know if you guys, I've ever mentioned this to you before, but let's just say back in 2001, when I had a salaried job, I only make 85% of what I made back in 2001. Now, don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. Not that you would, but don't want anybody to feel sorry for me, because from 2002 to 2005, probably made more during that period of time than probably, well, certainly 10 to 12 years worth of earnings of the rest of my career. So those 3 years were really good in the mortgage business. But then after that, it turned to crap. So, anyway, point being is I need the extra side hustles, in order to, make ends meet. Definitely helps. Alrighty. And I used to do, Uber and Lyft and DoorDash, Uber Eats. Hell, I did Uber Eats before Uber Eats even existed. They used to just like send you to a location. Somebody would send you to a location and then put notes in there like, hey, can you pick up this food for me and just bring it to me? And that's your pickup was that. And this was before they started really tracking passengers. And then they went, no, we're not allowing passengers to do that. But we have this other product. All right. Totally going off on a tangent. Gaming with Smoky Night. Gotta hustle to make that cheddar. Absolutely. Although, yeah, I guess cheddar. I was going to say too much of a Wisconsin analogy, but I can live with that. I can live with that. Let's see. Salad isn't that profitable at all. I mean, on my 8 rigs, I make a little over $10 a day. But again, the rigs I have on it is 3 3060 Ti's, 1 3060, a 4070 Ti, a 4070, and 2 3090s. And it has made more than that in the past. So right now, is it the best? So that's why I am thinking about making some changes. But at the same time, I don't want to disrupt what I already have going on either. So that's the risk. So kind of debating on exactly what to do. Deciding. Thanks for your stream, Max. Always consistent. Thank you, Crypto Crag. I appreciate your super chat of 1, 2, 3, 4. Bacon, Eggs, and Hash says I publish ebooks on Amazon. Not getting rich, but it's a good side hustle. Yeah. You know, I've watched a few videos on ebooks. You know, things just like, I mean, just making note pages, like notebooks, like things for people to put notes, but you theme them with the cover and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like the different types of books. It's not just reading books necessarily. It's workbooks and things like that you can actually make money on as well. So pretty interesting. No excuse, Mr. Chump Change. No excuse. You go to the back of the room. Back corner, sir. Thank you for being here, chump. Speaking of books, Anthony, is he paying you to push his book? Is he paying you to push his book? Anthony Pompliano book is really good according to Chump. I wasn't even sure Chump could read, but I guess he can. Sorry, that's what you get. You just, and Mining King's got to come in next. Max Voltage ebook. You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I have thought about writing a book. Actually, in my mind right now, I have 2 thoughts of writing a book. One is kind of similar to what Anthony Pompliano did, which was he did letters to his children. Okay. I'm not doing that, but what I mean by it is as like you have separate, each one of those letters is like a separate thing. I've thought about like sharing all the different stories that I have from my life. As I think I have some fairly entertaining stories, but maybe other people wouldn't find it as entertaining. That's one thought, but the real big thought I have is customer service, like how to get the most out of your interactions with customer service. I have people in my family. Well, first of all, I've surprised myself with some of the things I have gotten out of customer service, and there's been some lessons learned along the way. But my family will actually come to me and say, "Can you just call on my behalf? This is what I'm looking for." And I do that, and lo and behold, I'll get that or more than what they were looking for. And most of the time, it's not necessarily looking for money; it's fixing the problem. And you guys have heard me before with the whole Chipotle thing. My problem with Chipotle, and I'm boycotting them right now. I'm not eating there. My problem with companies is when they don't listen, and they have a problem in their interactions with DoorDash. And you could say, well, everybody has that same problem. No, they don't. They do not. Because like if I have a problem with a Chili's order, and I've had problems with a Chili's order before when it was DoorDash, they said, we'll get somebody else to drive it out to you. They have gone above and beyond to fix the problem. That's what Chipotle doesn't do. They just be like, it's a one-off. It's kind of like the U.S. Postal Service version of customer service. We're going to serve 99.5% of our customers really, really well and get packages on time 99.5% of the time. But that other 0.5% of the time, you're freaking screwed. You're screwed. That's the Chipotle way, and that is when it comes to delivery, that's the Chipotle way, and that is the post office way. The other thing about Chipotle, there was a new Chipotle that opened up near work. Now, I could go to one or two places, but the one place was a lot closer. I tried it 5 times. It was disgusting. Disgusting. I think I had one time where I had a decent bowl. The meat was horribly cooked, not cooked correctly. It was just horrible. I could describe it, but you'd be better off not having me describe it. So I wrote a letter to them saying, hey, you got this other one down the road that does it really well. Why don't you send somebody up there? They're good people. They're nice people. They just don't get it. So go there and fix it so I can go get my food at a place that's closer to me. That was my motivation. I wasn't asking for anything. I wasn't asking for a refund. I wasn't asking for any of that. I was simply making a suggestion. Did it improve it? Not at all. I don't think they took anything. They don't listen to their customers. All right. That's my Chipotle rant for tonight. All right. Sorry, I glanced at a few, but I gotta take them in order. Let's see. So Gamer Smoking Dan says, I think people on eBay selling 40 series cards for more than new. Heard 50 series should drop Q1 of 2025. Well, that's true, except the big thing is try finding a 4090 in a store anywhere. They're really hard to find now. Best Buys around my house are all sold out of every model. Every model. There was one open box. Best Buy has raised the price on their open box. Their excellent version of their open box was over $1,700 when before it was like just above $1,600. They've raised them $80. No, sorry, $90. Went from $619 to $1,709. That's ridiculous. That's price gouging. Anyway, but yeah, there I checked Newegg, I checked Amazon. Of course, they all have listings, but those are all the scalpers because you can see there was one actually on Amazon that was $1,900. There was one at Best Buy that was like an AIO model where you have, the separate cooler that you hook up. Man, it's an AIO model. It's really what it is. It's all-in-one cooler. It's liquid cooling. For your GPU. It was an MSI model, so they did still have those, but none of the air-cooled ones. And like I said, with Amazon, I think they had one model that was $1,900, which was higher than what it normally was. So I'm not sure if that was Amazon or a scalper, but then the rest of them were over like $2,200. So yeah, there's no more. There really are no more. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to be getting any more 4090s. I hope to, but yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, bacon, eggs, and hash. Use Book Bolt. It's $10 a month subscription, and yeah, I make blank journals and market them to schools and institutions. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Game of Smoking Dan says, Chump loves picture books, but he struggles to color between the lines. BS, they be stories about your wife and the 3060 Ti's. That would certainly be one of the stories. No question. You guys would find it entertaining. No question. But I bet a lot of other people would not, because they'd be like, what? Why is this even interesting? Why? I don't get it. So there would be a little bit for everybody. Retro Mike says you can make bank with the Amazon influencer program, doing video reviews, unboxing of products, go around the house and find items sold on Amazon and do short videos. Really? Huh. Interesting. I did know about that, but I didn't know you could just like take stuff you had bought, do videos, and then show what you can do, and then I guess they'll notice you maybe? I don't know. I guess I'd have to learn a little bit more about it. But thanks for the info. If I ever become unemployed, all this stuff is going to be really good. I don't plan on being unemployed anytime soon, but It's never hurts to be prepared. Never hurts to be prepared. And S Chang, hey, welcome S Chang. Sounds like you have a customer support service startup idea. No. Remember, there is really very, I've thought about having like offering services to basically talk as the customer, but I'd rather teach than do it for people. I'd rather teach people. And it's interesting because people are like, well, if you could just do this, why wouldn't you just sell your services and make all the money? Because some people don't like to do that. Some people like to teach people and watch people get what they want, and they get a lot more. Like if you're a coach, that's what you like to do. You like to show somebody how to do something better, and that's where your reward is. That's what I like to do. So I'll give you one thing. One is when you call customer service, know what you want. If you just call to complain without giving them a goal of what is going to satisfy you, and you don't offer that up, you explain the situation, you let them offer a solution to you, because they do actually want to solve your problem. Believe it or not, even if they don't have the ability to, they do want to solve your problem. Some of them just want to get you off the phone because they're all about their metrics. There's definitely those people. But if you give a lot of them the opportunity, they will present solutions, and you can explain why that solution doesn't work for you if it doesn't. Sometimes they surprise you and you're like, I'll tell you what, Comcast, there's a reason why I'm at $50 a month for my Comcast 2 gig down, 300 up. Officially, that's what the service is. Why I'm at $50. Only $50 for that service. I don't know anybody else who's at that price, because I had gotten somebody on the phone who wanted to just completely blow away their customer. And she started out with, how would you like to save $10 on your internet bill? I said, I would love that. What do I need to do? Nothing. I'm just going to lower it. I'm like, awesome. How would you like to save another $35? I'm like, that sounds awesome. But this one sounds like there's a catch. She's like, well, yeah, but here's the thing. Who's your cellular provider? I said, Verizon. I know where she was going with this. Well, Verizon, Comcast uses it. I said, I understand all that. I'm already there. Let's take a look at the plans. And we started looking at the plans, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. And that's what we did. We moved 2 phones from my Verizon plan over to Comcast for the same price as to what I was paying at Verizon. And I saved $35 on my bill because she suggested it. I didn't bring it up. That's great customer service. That's rare. That was the one person I can remember within the last few years, at least, where the person offered me something that I couldn't believe was being offered. Most of the time you have to, and I don't even remember why I called. It was something fairly minor, actually. Anyway, that's just one example, but know what you want, because sometimes they don't, that's all they want at that point. They're so frustrated that, well, what do you want? And they can't ask you like that, because then it's antagonistic. But if you say, this is what I think, I'll tell you what, when I had a ton of outages with Comcast, where I literally was getting like an outage, well, it started out as an outage like every couple weeks. And then it was a little bit less. But when I kept getting the outages, I told them, I said, look, I want a full day credit. Not because I want the credit, but because I want you guys to hurt. Because if you guys don't hurt financially from, like looking at my account and realizing that you're unprofitable with my account, you're not going to fix it. So that's the only reason why I'm doing it. I said, I just want service, reliable service. That's all I want. And finally got through to them to the point where they had fixed the problem, but then 4 months later, something completely irrelevant to what the problem was, something else happened that had a wider outage. They called me before I even noticed it was out. And I always notice when it's out. And I was like, damn, I must be on a list of that they're monitoring. So that was a good thing. And I was like, okay, now they're starting to go above and beyond with customer service, at least with people with known problems in the past, that they need to make sure that they keep them happy. Otherwise they're going to leave because of all the problems. All right. Enough on the customer service thing. We're going to go back into crypto. All right, let me go to the rest of the chat though. Mining King says Octominer 4090s 1795, I believe. That's not a bad deal. The problem is, if I remember correctly, unless you're putting them in Octo servers or some other server case, not going to cool very well because I don't think they have fans. They depend on the fans in the case. So, but that's a very good point. If you have a server case, that could be a very, very good buy. All right, I think Mining King says, I will just yell at them until I get what I want. Well, wait, hang on a second. You just got the thing, which was getting what you want. The thing is, before you yell at them, tell them what you want. A lot of times they'll be like, especially if it's reasonable, that's reasonable. Okay, no problem. We'll make that happen. Great. All right. Enough of that. Who got me down that rabbit hole? Who was it? S. Chang. It's all your fault. Got me down that rabbit hole. Okay. So, economics wise, keep an eye out for the CPI report. That could move the needle either way. I think it will move the needle positive, in my opinion, if it moves it at all. But like I said, the big story this week is going to be the hurricane. So I don't think we'll start seeing that until next week. But we shall see. We shall see. All right. Let me go into some of the stories, and then I'm going to go into some charting and show you why I think we're either going to be in Uptober or an October. We shall see. All right. Well, let's big news of the day. Delaware judge approves FTX's state bankruptcy plan. And I love this. Most FTX creditors will get all of their money back in cash and then some. I hate that headline. They're not getting all their money back. Not even close. They're getting equivalent amount of US dollars because they were holding on to Bitcoin and the Bitcoin went up. That is a horrible, horrible headline. Totally misleading. So, but it's happening. It is approved. So I don't know exactly what the timing of it is. I just looked pretty much at the headline and went through a couple other things through here. So, but that's really the main news story on that. Then Ethereum proposal could increase throughput by 50%. Who could have thought? They've done it before. Because when you lower, which they did when they went to the merge, they lowered the block time to 12 seconds. I believe it was down from 15 seconds. So they increased it then. Now the proposal is to lower it to 8 seconds. Problem is that they might have to increase the minimum spec on node operators. Because they may not be able, certainly you may not be able to run it on a Raspberry Pi, for instance. Because right now you can run an Ethereum node with your full amount of, 80 Ethereum or something? It's a lot of Ethereum. But a lot of Ethereum. 25 Ethereum? Anyway, regardless, it's a lot of money. And you have all of that it's not all on your Raspberry Pi or anything, but all of your earnings that you could be getting off it are based on a Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pis are great, but yeah. Alrighty. So that's that story. So that it's as simple as that though. They're lowering the block times from 12 seconds down to 8, or at least that's the proposal. So we will see if they do that. And then some of the things that are happening in other areas, AI tokens lead crypto rebound amid strong U.S. economy. So this was a story from last Friday, but still relevant today. So things have been going up in the AI field again. So might be worth taking a look and seeing if there's some good buys. Tau, which is BitTensor, has been doing well. Render obviously has been doing well. And obviously there's some lesser knowns like Flux and Chlor and Akash. There's a bunch of other ones, but the two top ones right now that people are talking about is BitTensor and Render. And next story, oh, that was the Hurricane. So that was the main 3 crypto stories I had for tonight that I wanted to talk about. Now let's go to, well, let me see what other things I might have missed. Gaming with Smokey Dan, and more of a strawberry cheesecake guy. In reference to what? Versus, you mean cheddar? Is that what that reference was to? That was a while ago. Are you behind? Maybe you are. But it's better to be a little behind than a big ass. Sorry, old dad joke. And I think you meant, oh, I got it. BitTensor. No, I meant BitTensor. BitTensor. Yeah. Alrighty. You mean Tao, T-A-O, has a halving schedule? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, Raspberry Pi. Oh, got it. Strawberry. I got it. That completely makes sense. Went right over my head. Right over my head. Okay, well, let's get into the charting. And I didn't come up with this on my own. I had heard other people mention that the time around the election is always a really good time for Bitcoin. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking for like news stories and things like that. Wasn't really finding anything. I'm like, well, screw it. Why don't I just go look at the charts myself? So that's what I did. So let me bring that up. All right. So obviously I've spread this out quite a bit to show like what I've done. So the first line is today's date in that year. The second line is the date of the election. Well, not only the date of the election, the same date as the election is this year. So the election will be slightly different on those particular years, but it'll give you a good idea. It's going to be obviously within 7 days, because it's always the first Tuesday in November. So that's what that date is. And the third line is when the beginning of the year. So that's December 31st of that year. So what people have been saying is that, okay, October, November, December is a really good time to be in Bitcoin. And that the trend to say, okay, well, that's fine, but are we still in the same type of buildup? And there's always within 2 to 3 months prior to the election, there's always a significant dip. So let's take a look at each of these. Now it's going to take me a little bit to get into, because I have to, well, let's not be in the negative here. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Bear with me here a second while I get it lined up. And we'll shorten the timeline as well, lengthen the timeline as well. So we can look at this. So we can actually see not just this small number change, but actually, because this is a logarithmic chart. All right. A little too much. Whoop, wrong way. All right, there we go. And we'll make that a little bit, well, we don't want to make it that much longer because we got to see the dip. So you can see here's the dip at the beginning of August before the 2016 election. This is, of course, after the halving. So we had a fairly significant dip. If I measure this from here, I always forget. I got to do this right. From here, oh, go back to measure. From here, we won't even measure it down to all the way down to here. But if we go all the way down to here, you're looking at like a 30% drop. Well, let's even say down to the dip, which is like 17.5%. So that's a significant dip. And again, if you take the end, the bottom of the candle into effect, then obviously it's much bigger because it was kind of like a flash crash type thing. So we have this significant dip. We start seeing increase, but pretty much we have a little bit of an increase and then back down to a decrease, but really trading sideways up to where we are today. And then we have our Uptober. Now, what's interesting is we have some really big volatility right around the election. There's going to be, well, in this year, there's a big drop right at the election. I don't know if this was the specific date, but right around the election, there are some significant drops, and then we're off to the races. So this is 2016. So now let's take a look at, well, let's even say in October from where we are today. Let's go back to measure. I'm just going to take the middle of that area and then go up to the top. That's a 20% increase in October. I'd like that. That'd be good. We're at like 63 right now. 20%. That's another 13,000. That'd put us at like 76,000. Who wants that? I do. I'd love that going into the election. I would be a very happy camper. I think most of you would be too. So that is what we have in that particular year. And then, of course, what do we see after the election? Another drop, but what kind of increase do we have? In fact, let me lower this so I can actually get to the top. We go here. And okay, I hit measure. It was blue. Oh, somehow it didn't take it right. Well, let's even say we take it to the end of the year. You're looking at a 38% gain. And again, we know that this time is not going to be as big as the last time. We don't think anyway. That's the consensus. But still, you can see there's a big jump between the election and the end of the year. And then if you go into January, shoot, we're even up to 60%, 61% at that point. And then again, we have our drops. We're going to see these drops along the way. Nothing to panic about. And then you see us continue off to the races throughout 2017. Oh, I need to do that. Until we finally hit the peak at the end of the following year. The end of the following year. So 2025 could be a very, very, very good year. All right, well, let's bring this in so I can get to the next one quicker. And obviously, we know that it was a good time to be in Bitcoin back in 2020. No question. But again, what did we have? Again, and actually, I even need to bring this down because it's too much, just so we can see all that. So you can see that there's a significant drop here to here. I'm actually going to make that a bit bigger, and we'll bring that back down later. Because really we're concentrating on where we are at the end of the year. Yes, we know we're going to continue up, but there's bumps along the way, usually after the beginning of the year. But let's see what this one is as far as a drop. Again, beginning of September on this one, not beginning of August. So 2 to 3 months. So if we go here to about there, we're looking at about a 15% drop or so. So again, significant drop. And then didn't really go much of anywhere. Let me redo that. Oh, actually, let me just do that. And that way I can redo that. Go from here to here. It's like a 5% increase. It's basically trading sideways. It's not really anything big. But now let's go from here to election time. And we're looking at a 33% gain in that year's October, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, want to spread that out. So on this one, which I find fascinating, because what do we all think? I shouldn't say all. What do most crypto people think? If Trump gets elected, a Republican, crypto's going to go up. When Trump got into office, you saw the big candle down. Not saying this because of Trump. I'm just saying you can't dispute it, the candle went down right around election day. In this one, the candle went up when Biden was elected. So pretty interesting. Now, maybe that was when Trump was up in the polls, maybe, and that's why it went up, and then it kind of trailed off a little bit afterwards. I don't have that amount of detail, but bottom line is it doesn't matter whether there is a Democrat or a Republican in office. This has been the trend regardless. It has not shown historically that it matters. So let's take what we did after the election. Well, wait, first of all, let's go from here to here. We'll take the midpoint. So we're looking at about a 40% October. 40%, again, up to election day or up to November 5th. And obviously, if I went back to October 31st, right there. Okay, so it's only like around 30%, 25 to 30%. Still a nice gain in October. And then if we look at it afterwards, let's do that and then re-click that. And we go up to where it is on December 31st. You're looking at a 92% gain between election and December 31st. That's amazing. Am I saying that's going to happen this time? No, of course not. Because we had the big jump at the beginning of the year and we haven't seen that much of a decrease below that. So we're at a little bit higher point than I think we would be normally at these times of the cycle. So, and then let's look at, if we looked at this and said, okay, where do we think we might be? So let me we're getting there was the dip, and now here we are. And you can see we're in this downward parallel channel is basically what we're in right now. Long term since March. Okay. And all we need is a breakout above that channel. Just need a breakout above that channel and we're off to the races. Could this be the final move to break that channel? Definitely possible. So let's say, like right now, you can see this is where the big dip was. Let's see. Well, that's one of the big dips. You could even say the big dip is here back in August or September. Kind of take your pick. Either way, we've had a couple of dips going into this. And we had one recently. But again, all of these are related to global events. And those are black swans. You know, nothing you can do to necessarily predict them from one bull run to another. But I don't think it will break the overall trend. So let's just say, like I said, 20% between here and here. And again, 20%. And again, well, let's look to see what it would take to be 100,000 by the end of the year. Let's say 20%. And I think this is totally doable. The 20%, basically you're at about 75,000. And I'm taking kind of an average there. So let's just say 75,000. So now I always got to click that. And then if we take from 75,000, hold on. Before I do that, I need to go back here, scroll this over because there's the line. So if we went from 75,000, I guess it really doesn't matter the amount of time. Trying to get as close to, it's as close as I'm going to get. 75,000 to shoot. All right, there we go. I got to get 100,000 on here. Up to 100,000 is a 33% gain. 33%. Hit 75,000 by election day and 100,000 by the end of the year with a 33% gain. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. I really don't. I really don't. This is not financial advice, people. Not at all. But I really think 100,000 by the end of the year is definitely possible. Certainly, I think 85 to 90 is. I would be shocked if we didn't hit at least 85 to 90,000 by the end of the year. That's what I think. But we'll see. Obviously, there are a couple things where people are saying, not yet. There isn't the amount of FOMO yet. The amount of search traffic for Bitcoin hasn't really gone up that much. But people talked about percentages with searches, and it may already be so high that you're not going to get that same percentage increase. There could be all these people doing searches over a period of time that are consistently watching it, waiting for the FOMO to start, and then they want to jump in. That's just one of the things I was thinking about. The percentage itself may not be representative of the interest of it. I'd be more curious about the total number of searches now versus what they were back then. And they're more comparing them, in a shorter term than that. So anyway, what do you think? What do you think? Do you agree with my analysis? Do you not agree with my analysis? Let me know what you think. So Gave Me a Smoky Dan says, so you're saying there's a chance I'll get the cards I want due to massive returns. Got it. Thanks. Oh, I'll get the cards I want due to massive returns. Got it. Thanks. No. It would be, what would be really cool though is, obviously Aleo has been pretty profitable, and man, see that go up. That would be awesome. Their profitability go up. Hey, welcome back to the Ethereum times again. Just keep it quiet. Don't let the noobs know about it. Bacon, eggs, and hash. Those previous models don't have BlackRock involved though, so that's significant in my opinion. There's differences in every run. There's always going to be differences. What I find fascinating is, regardless of the differences in the time, there's similarities, very close similarities. Like I said, maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe this will not happen. And if it doesn't happen, then we've broken the trend. But if you look at kind of what happened, even, yes, we did hit this early peak. We somewhat broke the trend. But again, that was due to a white swan event with the Bitcoin ETFs. So that obviously had a huge impact on that time period. Now we don't have that same, it's still around, but it's not that same like sudden influx in Bitcoin. It could still be a sudden influx with the FOMO that might happen. Bitcoin starts going up. They start talking about the returns. It's on all the news shows. And all of a sudden people are like, I want a piece of that. I want a piece of that. And it just takes a little bit from everybody. And all of a sudden now the price is skyrocketing. So good old supply and demand strikes again. Let's see. Give Me a Smoky Dan. You tell me this now. I could have stopped smoking to sell blood and sperm for some extra funds to gain more BTC. Now what do I do? Oh yeah, Retro Mike idea. What did Retro Mike say? Oh, doing video reviews for Amazon. There you go. Now, I don't want to hear that, because darn well that most of the people here also watch, oh my God, I had his name in my mind. Oh my God, why can't I think of his name? DJ Mines. Okay, DJ Mines has been preaching all along. Figure out a way to make extra cash so you can invest. He's been preaching that from before he went away, saying, now's the time, people. Now's the time. Now is the time. Anybody who knows that musical. So yeah, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I know you were joking, but yeah, you knew this is your last chance. As far as I'm concerned, this is your last warning. This is your last warning. You need to, if you have money to invest, not financial advice. I'm just showing you what the past has shown. And if we follow that same trend, and if it does, and if we follow that same trend, then it's going to be the last chance we have before we see these big gains. Big gains. Again, we're going to see drops along the way. There's going to be opportunities to sell and buy back in. So look for these trends from the last couple to predict where you see these peaks and then 20% losses. So, and then obviously don't ride it all the way back down to the bottom like a lot of us did. Don't do it this time. I'm going to be all out. I will be all out and let it sit on the sidelines, making money elsewhere, maybe invest in some hardware during the bear market, only to make money to reinvest when it hits all-time lows. Well, not all-time lows, but hits lows for that bear run. Alrighty. Any questions you guys got? I have been going about an hour and 10 minutes. Not quite, but almost. Let's see. I've been doing pretty good. Jackson Digital, selling every day. I mean, it's a strategy. If you are mining and you want to make sure that you're not losing profits. I mean, heck, look at what's happened with Aleo. Aleo, when I first started mining it, it was like 550. And shoot, what was the last time I looked at it? It was like $4 or below. Here, let's, no, it wouldn't be in here because this is cracking. Let me look up price of Aleo. 366 today. 366. It's dropped a lot. So, yeah, I'm still mining it, but I am going to mine it to like $100 worth and then probably sell. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if it stabilizes, I'll probably start holding it in hopes that it'll go back up at some point. But you missed a lot, Geek of All Trades. You missed a lot. You need to stay after class and rewatch my entire live stream. That's what you need to do, sir. You need to go back in the back of the class with Chump, who was also late. $3 something. What did I miss? Just during the good times, I usually short my own bag. Yeah. TLDR. No. You need to do your homework, sir. You need to do your homework. I think everybody here, Aleo is the next Bitcoin. Dan Pena. Who's Dan Pena? You can tell how much I know about Aleo. I just know that it was profitable. Bacon. Next week it will be 50 cents. Oh. The rapper? No, not the rapper. Actually 50 cents. Yeah, it might be. Guess we'll find out. Hobbyist says, but Panda says it's the next Ethereum. It could be. Could be. Nobody knows yet. It could go up and be the next Ethereum if it continues to go up. Or it could continue to go down and fade away. Just fade away. Gaming Smoky Dan says, when I was doing YouTube vids, I used Tad, who owe me around 700 pounds. As for free cash, that worked for a while, but let me down, as did the video watching for points. Yeah, I haven't done that in so long now. Yeah, it's been a really long time since I've done free cash. Should go back and look to see if there's any like low-hanging fruit on that. I mean, I just did all the low-hanging fruit and then there was just nothing left to do. That wasn't too much work. That wasn't worth the amount of time it took to do it. I know that DJ liked to do the games. Well, he's really good at games. For me, no. I didn't like doing the games. I didn't like just continually grinding to get pennies. I think he enjoyed doing the games, so it wasn't just about the money. It was also about enjoying the process of getting the money. For me, that wasn't enjoyable. But hey, free cash is a real thing. It's really is free cash. You have to do some things like surveys or download this or do a trial of this. You just have to remember to cancel. So it definitely does work. Definitely does work. Easy estates. Dude that says Bitcoin is going to be. Oh, got it. Dan Payne is the one who says that Bitcoin's going to zero. Yeah. I don't think so. You guys can tell how I feel about it. I don't think it's going to zero. But the good thing about it is it usually takes when that starts happening where people are just so done that we've had so much capitulation that there isn't anybody else to be washed out, that's when it takes off. Because everybody who's going to wash out is already washed out. All the other people are hodlers and are going to stay in for the long term, or at least an extremely high percentage. So we'll see. What did I miss? Okay. Goat says, it's okay. I'll get ChatGPT to summarize the transcript when you wrap up. Work smarter, not harder. That's good. That's good. Let me know what you think about the summary. Actually, you know what? Send me the summary. I'd be really curious to see what it says about my video. Goat says, yes, no kidding. Never trust a guy that won't show his face. Always has something to hide. Yep. Yep. Sketchy as all get out. Oh, sorry. Red Panda's here. I didn't know. I knew you were here. You're always here. Red Panda. Your mom is the next Ethereum. Dang. So Crypto Craig says at Red Panda, ZK rolled her up in the covers. Oh, Mayo. Good Lord. Hey, what's wrong with your mom goes to college? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. A Red Panda, I don't even know how to respond to that. See, I don't even know if that's true if you're joking, Vinny. Hobbyist mom works in receiving department at the Oscar Mayer Wiener factory. Well, somebody has to, right? It's a job. Somebody's got to receive all the goods and stuff that it takes to make Oscar Mayer wieners. No shame in that. Goat, I hide my face in order to save everyone's eyes from burning. Yeah. I find that very hard to believe. We see those soft hands you've got. All right. I will not even read that comment, Jump, at least not out loud. Alrighty, guys, it has been an hour and 15 minutes. I appreciate you guys all being here. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Tell your friends. I need to start being more like DJ and be like, hey guys, tweet out the stream, get more people in here. But I always want to get right to business. That's what I want. I hope you guys appreciate that. But all right, thank you guys. I will be here again next Monday. I'll also be on Saturday night stream for Misfit Mining SNL. And it's kind of a crazy week. I really do have ideas and I really do want to make some videos. It's just been really, really hard to find the time. As I mentioned, I've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of different fires that I'm keeping going. A lot of different fires. So yeah, taking Friday off, but I got something else going on Friday instead. So maybe some news from that later on. We shall see. But I appreciate you guys all coming out. And I will see you, like I said, Saturday and Monday, and possibly in a video if I can sometime this week. I really, really want to get out a video on where my earnings are coming from for crypto. Not just for you guys, but I kind of want to add it all up to see, you know, where I'm at. I kind of know what different pieces make, and I just have kind of never really put it all together. So hoping to do that. It should be a relatively easy and short video to make. It's just gathering the data. So we'll see. Keep your eye out for that. Alrighty, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate it. And the general is out. Have a good night, everybody. See you later.